Libra. Welcome to your mid-June 2023 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Sorry if you can hear a lawnmower in the background. It started up the first time I pressed record. So I'm like, I want to just get the ball rolling here. If it gets really bad, I'll probably pause it. But maybe sometimes in the background it doesn't sound as intense. I have the windows closed. So I think about half of the signs for the June reading, tarot reading as a whole. I don't always do those, but I guess I had time to do those, and then I was doing other things. So I'm giving the other 6 signs the first dibs on the mid-June readings, and we'll see. We'll take it from there. I might, depending on what's going on by the time I finish those other 6 readings, I might be waiting until the middle of June for the end of the June readings. We'll see. But I just want to let you know that it wasn't intentional to leave you out. And I will explain the cards when I get to that place. I'll explain all the cards. I'm just laying them out right now. What? How is it possible to have all these swords? Your swords. And I really did. I really was like shuffling and picking cards from different places. So that is wild. How many? I got 1, 2, 3 out of 6 are swords. And we're in Gemini season right now, and that's a fellow swords, air sign. So there you go. The heart of the matter is the 6 of Swords. This is leaving behind the drama, the conflict, and choosing peace in your life. This isn't hard for Libra people to do because you're kind of like wired to always choose the most harmonious path. But as I have observed before, it seems as though Libra people sometimes attract drama in their relationships, and I believe it's because they are evading or you could say avoiding conflict, because conflict does exist sometimes, and I feel that when we run away from something, even if it's we're trying to benefit both parties by not fighting and things like that, that things can go unresolved. Maybe you have tolerated a particular situation way too long and you're finally done with it. And so this can run the gamut, obviously. This could be in the workplace. This could be, in your personal relationships. You did have a solar eclipse in the 6th house of... I'm sorry, I said 6th. I meant 7th house of relationships in Aries, your opposite sign. So it's possible that that is reflecting that. I was going to say that's the fallout from that, but I don't mean it in a bad way. It can be actually something very, life enhancing. By the way, this deck that I haven't used this in quite a while. And one of the reasons I haven't used it is because I love, even though I really love the artwork on these cards, the only thing that bothers me is that there are too many cards with the same background. And I think that I noticed that the pink of the swords, maybe that's, what they have in common. But even the 7 of Pentacles on the top right has a lot of pink behind it. So I feel like sometimes it may be hard to distinguish the cards from one another. But, I saw that deck and I thought, what the heck, why not? It gives me good vibes. So it's not like I don't enjoy working with it, but I just wonder if people can see the differences in the cards very much. I guess if you like tune into it, you can. So in the past position, we have the Five of Pentacles, and this is the card of lack consciousness. You can see all the green in this card, which would be abundance, growth. I would say even like, you could say money, but the person is kind of almost like, let's see, are they holding it back? Yeah, it's almost like they're kind of pushing back on it or something. And the Five of Pentacles can be if you have this fear that something that is not going to transpire because there, you have ideas of fear around that particular topic. So, for instance, if someone is very afraid of being alone, and let's say they're middle aged, and they say, especially women tend to think like this, and they say, oh, I'm getting too old for, I'm talking about relationships with the opposite sex primarily. I'm getting too old to be attractive to a man, and they really think that way. And I could see a Libra person thinking that way. That's like consciousness, because first of all, it's limiting the scope of why somebody would be attracted to you in the first place. It's not always just looks, and that might be the worst thing to have somebody attracted to you for. But also the idea that there is this expiration date of, why you would be attracted to someone else, attractive to someone else, even physically, if we're being totally superficial about it. So the same thing with work matters. I'll never be able to get another job. I have to just, deal with whatever they throw at me. These kinds of things can keep a person rooted in place and somewhere that they don't really want to be. And that is going to lead to them not feeling happy in their life. The higher message is the Seven of Pentacles. It's really about growth. And that's what the Seven of Pentacles represents. Investing in something and seeing if it produces something in return. Now, that means that you have to keep an open mind, and you can't be afraid if something isn't working out to change. I think with Libra, there might be some fears based around, especially Scorpio, because Scorpio is an adjacent sign to you, and it's a fixed sign, it's a water sign, and there might be these security issues and also stubbornness, like ideas. If you have Mercury in Scorpio, only this way will work, only this idea is valid, and not realizing that you can experiment in life, you can try different things, you can keep your mind open for possibilities. What crosses you is the Ten of Swords. So I see this especially if you've been hurt before, if you have gotten fired before and you're like, I don't want to ever experience this again. If you've gotten cheated on or something like that, that can lead to feeling a sense of betrayal that you haven't worked through maybe in some ways. And so you just fear it, but you also suppress the emotions that it brought up when it happened. With Libra being an air sign, there can be intellectualization of emotions. So, air signs are brilliant at, how would I put it, making their feelings very abstract. So they don't really feel them. They kind of have them in their mind. And that can give the feeling that you understand, because if you intellectualize something, you can analyze it and understand it on a mental level, and yet still haven't healed from it, because it's just a concept. It's not really something that has fundamentally changed, where your attitude, and you're not afraid, because the fear that's attached to these things, and that's really what the Five of Pentacles is about too, that fear of lack, that fear of like abandonment is an emotional fear. But the Five of Pentacles would be like holding on to any type of relationship, because there's a fear that something else better won't come along. And, the devil, is better than not having anything at all. Well, that's not true. What's coming in is the Four of Swords. This is a card of retreat, reflection, rejuvenation. You see the person who's resting. Swords, because they're connected to air signs, are your thoughts. I like to think of this as resting your mind. So it could even be like a meditation retreat. And it doesn't have to be that you're going away and doing something. You could be carving out time. Maybe if you have long periods of time, you might be like, doing a vow of silence. John Lennon was a Libra. Many of you probably know that. And I was reading this one biography on him, and it makes me laugh. I think what happened was he was taking a vow of silence one day, and then he kept like somebody was asking him questions in his household, and he was just like writing it down. And I think he finally just blew up. I can't remember exactly what happened. I don't think it lasted the whole day, because he had Aries rising, I found out. And so he had like this volatility within himself, even though he was always talking about peace. And when he was younger, he used to even have those physical fights sometimes, or tried to at least have this tough image. And so anyway, it's hard sometimes for air signs to kind of shut up, because you're very good at communicating, and you may really enjoy having conversations with people. But that's just something, even as a Sagittarian, I would like to do that, just to kind of get away, like totally get away, not having to like go somewhere else, but just like spend the day in the woods or in a field, and just, away from technology, just to be, or by a lake, or by a river, and not getting caught up in the mind. And this, to me, this card can also be somebody who is organizing their ideas, because number 4 is connected to Saturn and connected to discipline, organization. So I could see somebody who's trying to get their life together by coming up with ideas that work for them, about the structure. That's what Saturn represents, is structure, structuring your thoughts. And the outcome, the Wheel of Fortune, which is connected to Jupiter, by the way. And so Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus at the moment. And that for you is the 8th house. And the 8th house, it's about shared resources and things like that. But it's also about alchemy, personal alchemy, which means transformation. It's about astrology and the tarot. It can be about metaphysical practices and things of that nature. But it's also about, because it's the wheel, so it's about cycles. You're about to have your first solar eclipse in October. And that's part of a cycle. Every year and a half, there are new sets of eclipses. So there are opportunities for people to experience triggers to various houses. And remember, when we have a solar eclipse, we have a lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse is actually going to be in your 12th house, and that's where you had Um, I mean, I'm sorry, I said the 12th house. What I mean is, okay, let me rephrase what I said. I should have said that we're going to have a lunar eclipse in the eighth house, not a solar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is happening in the eighth house, and that is on October 28th. And that is going to be, that could be a very pivotal time for you because this is an area of transformation. And a lunar eclipse is a powerful full moon, so it can mean that a person is undergoing a major, they're letting go of a major area of their life that is not serving them in some way, or maybe just in general, something within, because this is psychological. This is Scorpio's domain, so it's very psychological. So it just might be on an inner level, or you have some kind of major downloads that are connected to things that are in your shadow self that need to be purged. And this could be a purging time. Then, a couple of weeks earlier than that, you have your solar eclipse, and that is in your sign, the first house of the self. And that's when the sun and moon are in conjunction. The lunar eclipse is when the sun and moon are opposing one another. So that was, I don't know why I was talking about the 12th house. But anyway, this could be when I talk about relationships, for instance, the new moon in your first house can really emphasize your path. And maybe if you're the typical Libra person in a relationship, maybe you have been losing yourself in that relationship. So the Wheel of Fortune, ultimately to me, besides, having fortunate events occurring, so it is a positive card, it could be a card of travel, but it could be that you are experiencing just more of a cycle. So you have to embrace it, like that lunar eclipse in Taurus. Embrace any change that occurs. Don't cling to needing that situation to remain if it's not viable. And with the Four of Swords, really, get your, meditation is such a great tool in general because it can promote equanimity or, having, equilibrium in your life so that you're never pulled too far in one direction. And I think, Libra is about balance, so you can really enjoy hearing something like that. So that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings that are astrologically based, although I do have a tarot version. The one that is a double astrology reading is called my deep dive reading. It's an extended natal chart interpretation, which is an hour. Each reading is an hour in length. And the reason that I did this is because I found that when I was doing a combination reading that was only an hour long, I can't believe I did those for so long, that it was inadequate. I wasn't giving enough transits, and I wasn't giving enough insight into the chart. And because I want to give people a lot of information, I was going way over the limit, and I wasn't respecting my own boundaries. So I had to just extend the reading. But it is a very good discount because you're buying two readings compared to the standalone readings of each of those types of readings. And then I have one with the tarot. It's like a full-length tarot reading with the natal chart analysis called the whole enchilada. So I also just have individual readings, including love readings. And I need to do some more love tarot readings because I had fun doing those. But sometimes, regular readings show up as tarot readings. I mean, love readings. So it almost seems redundant sometimes. But anyway, I hope you have a great next week until we meet again. Uh, the best to you. Take care. Bye.